So do you feel like chocolate cake and ice cream?
No.
Is it totally disgusting?
Yes.
Because I can go get some if you'd like. I'm sure we could find something around here.
No.
And you're sitting here. You're welcome. I don't want to eat it either.
Right.
It's disgusting. Doing that whole process, I had to learn to hold in my own stomach because I have a very weak stomach.
Yeah.
The weakest of the weak. So sometimes when I do this, I actually have to stop and get a breath, take a breath, because I find it repulsive.
Yeah.
There's all the things I can't stand are in there, which is why I do it. So just remember, though, you have to stop and think. Because when you want to eat sugar, it's like we're a racehorse. We're running to the refrigerator, and we're not even conscious of it.
Right.
We just run like we're a racehorse, a thoroughbred. So we can just sit like we're cemented into the chair and just take 2 seconds to remember what you just saw.
Right.
You can't eat it. But the mind is so crazy and the addiction is so powerful that we're like this, and we're off. So that's why you have to really stop and think about this.
Okay.
And then you can't eat it. And you can use it for all kinds of sugar. So anytime you have anything with sugar in it that you don't want to eat, do what I said. It's called being addicted to sugar.
Right.
That's what it does. So you're here because you want to get over sugar. So tell me what kind of sugar you're addicted to.
Ice cream, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Cakes, I guess, would be second.
Ice cream, cake.
Sugar, I'm not a candy person.
No candy?
Not so much candy.
Lucky duck?
Chocolate, though.
Chocolate.
I have a dark chocolate thing. So.
And do you find that when you eat the sugar, it's kind of just like a wave of calm coming over you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And are you stressed out right now in your life?
Yes.
Okay. So you're experiencing some anxiety, stress.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of changes, and so I feel unsettled, very unsettled.
So keep staring at me. You just keep staring at me. And as you keep staring at me, you're going to notice that your eyes start getting very, very heavy. You haven't done this one before, but we're going to do it now. So just keep staring at me. And now what I want you to do is I just want you to keep looking at my hands. And I want you to keep staring at me. Keep staring at me. Now look at my fingers. Keep looking at my fingers. And you're going to notice that your eyes are getting very, very heavy. And they're going to start blinking. But just keep staring at my fingers. And just notice as you're staring at my fingers that your eyes are becoming very, very heavy. Very, very dry. It's kind of uncomfortable to stare at my fingers. And just keep staring. It's been a very long day and a very long week for you. And it's kind of like there's 2 big bags of cement on your eyelids. You notice that it's almost easier just to close your eyes and just to relax. And your eyes are getting heavier and heavier. And it's nice to check out. It's nice to take a vacation from it all. Like it just doesn't even matter. And you just notice that your eyes are getting heavier and heavier. And heavier, and they're blinking and they're dry. And you're focusing even more. Focusing, eyes closed. I'm going to count from 0 to 5. And when I get to 5, you're going to go into a wonderful hypnotic state, feeling completely relaxed and calm. Starting from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep sleep. And right here and now, there's nothing for you to worry about or think about. That you can really take this time for yourself just to drift off. Now, as I count from 1 to 10 and 10 back down to 1, you can visualize and see each number. Maybe drifting and floating and floating and drifting. Or you can just listen to my voice. Just relax. Allow it to come over your head and over your forehead. Just let go of the tension. Go ahead and release the idea that sugar is your coping mechanism. Because you know that ice cream and cake, it doesn't really do anything for you. In fact, it does the opposite in which you want to accomplish. So just allow these thoughts to go into the chair and onto the floor. Releasing and letting go and releasing. There's something that you don't need to hold on to anymore. Perhaps one of your hands and arms are much heavier than the other. And the harder you try to lift them, the more difficult it becomes. Perhaps your entire body is heavy. Or it may be drifting and floating, as though it doesn't belong right here and now. It goes to another place. Whatever you feel is perfectly fine. There is no right, there is no wrong. And listen to my words very carefully. You don't want to eat sugar anymore. You don't want the cake. You don't want the ice cream. You don't want to eat late at night, because you know that every time you do this, you cause more suffering for yourself, because it's doing the opposite of what you want to do, which is eat well and be healthy. Whenever you try to eat these foods, or let's say you actually eat them, it's that inner self that is crying out to be heard to stop. And from now on, you're going to listen to the intuitive self. The voice within you is there for a reason. It wants you to stop. Listen to it. And if you listen to it carefully, it's going to allow you the strength to do what you know, what you know, what you know. And allow that light to puddle around your feet, lighting the path before you, the healthy path. The one that's going to keep you healthy and alert and offer you peace and vitality. When people eat sugar, when you eat sugar, you know that that's not helping you move forward in your life. It's hindering you from where you want to go. So at any time you can look down at your feet and you can see that white light puddling around your feet, lighting you into a beautiful garden of health. Now what I want you to do is I want you to visualize yourself, but don't go down yet, standing at the top of a staircase, feeling calm and relaxed, releasing and letting go and releasing. Because you like the beach. It's a peaceful place for you. And you can see the sun shining down upon you. And it's almost like this sense of healing has taken place. The vitamin D from the sun, the negative ions from the ocean. And as you're swaying side to side in this hammock, you fall deeply sound asleep. You dream that you're in a very hot desert. It is so hot that the earth is still. When it's very, very hot like this, nothing moves. It's too hot to move. The sun isn't the sun that you see at the beach. The sun is so big. The hotter it is, the bigger the sun is. Nothing is moving. As you look in front of you, you can see that the sandy desert, it's kind of like a bit of ahead of you. It's clay. It's so dry because there's no moisture. The earth is cracked. And you just start walking, and you notice the dust on your shoes because it's so dry. And you keep walking further and further and further. And all of a sudden you start hearing some like country music, like a saloon. And you're wondering where the saloon music is coming from, so you just keep walking. And as you walk closer and closer to this music, it becomes louder and louder and louder. And all of a sudden, you start looking at the saloon. And it's kind of something out of a Western movie. And there are people dressed up in their, big hats and their chaps and their country clothes. And as you come closer, you see the swinging doors of the saloon. And you notice as you start walking that there's this big box. And there's all these flies running around it. And there's an odor. It's like a stench. It's very unpleasant. And you're just walking closer and closer, wondering what is going on. And all of a sudden you see all of these people spitting into this box. And you're closer and closer, and you're starting to think this is really disgusting. And as you get closer and closer to this box, you see these people spitting and spitting, and one of the people throw their head back, and they have this slimy brown chewing tobacco in their mouth, and they're spitting into that box. And you're sitting there just looking around, observing. You've made yourself kind of comfortable because you can't believe what you see. And then all of a sudden, as you're sitting there and it's really, really hot, and you're around these people that are spitting and spitting into this box, you see this younger person come, and he actually blows his nose, my God, without a Kleenex into the box. And you can look into the box and you can see this green, disgusting, mucusy stuff in the box. It's floating at the top of all the other stuff that's been there for a very long time, and you think to yourself, this is a disease-ridden box. Why would people stand around it with all the flies? Why wouldn't they clean it? But they haven't. So you decide you're going to go up a little bit closer and you're going to look in this box because you actually can't believe that this is really happening. And that people are standing so close to it and they're drinking and they're eating, and it's like it's just here. And the closer you get to it, the stronger the scent. And all of a sudden you look into that box and you can't believe what you see. The flies are swarming all over. And you look inside and somebody has thrown some kind of like paper wrapper with food in it in this box. It's almost like it's a trash can. And you're starting to feel very sick to your stomach right now. This is absolutely horrifying. And you see maggots. Maggots love old food. They love anything that's disgusting. And you see it. And all of a sudden, this waft of stench comes over you. And you just can't believe what you see. It kind of reminds you of when you go into an outhouse and you open those doors, and the doors are kind of like they're this plastic, and you open it up and it creaks open, and you go inside, and the first thing you see is that outhouse. The first thing you see is the contents of the outhouse from hundreds of people that have used it. And you think to yourself, this day and age, why can't we come up with something else? There's flies. It's absolutely repulsive. The stench is there, and you look into this outhouse thing, and you see what you see. And you're sitting here looking at this box with its contents, and you just think what you think. Why would anyone stand around it? Now there's this young kid that comes, and he wants to play a little joke. He comes with a silver tray, and it has your chocolate cake and your ice cream. And the ice cream looks good because it's very, very hot, so it's going to be cool. And he brings this tray to you, and you're looking at it, and you're thinking, oh, this is quite nice. And all of a sudden, he takes the tray, laughing, of course, and he throws it into the box with the green, slimy mucus that the cowboy blew his nose without a Kleenex, and the maggots, and the flies, and the spit, and the vomit from the chili dog that the person ate in the saloon and drank too much whiskey and threw up. It's repulsive. It's even hard to even stomach. And he takes the chocolate cake and that ice cream, and he puts it into the box, and he stirs it up. And when you stir up things like this, the maggots go crazy. The flies are out of control. 1, the chair beneath you. 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes wide awake. If I gave you some chocolate cake and ice cream, would you like that?
No.
Do right now is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think about your chocolate cake and your ice cream, and I want you to hold relaxation in this hand, and I want you to take your hand and just open it and hold relaxation in that hand. And that's also your power hand. It's much stronger than this weak, disgusting stuff that was in that box hand. And as you're counting, I want you to take your hand and place it over your sugar hand. And you won't want it. Open your eyes. And this is what you're going to do to help yourself no longer want sugar. All you have to do is remember what you just saw. What was the worst thing about the whole process? The most disgusting thing?
Of what I saw in the box. The boys stuff from his nose going into the box, I guess.
And I want you to think about that. And hold it in your left hand, and I want you to think about that. Right? Because that thought, and doing this, it causes an ideomotor response.
Okay.
So when you do this, it triggers a thought. When you have the thought, you do this, right? So we can just sit like we're cemented into the chair and just take 2 seconds to remember what you just saw.
Right.
You can't eat it. But the mind is so crazy and the addiction is so powerful that we're like this, and we're off. So that's why you have to really stop and think about this. Anything for you. In fact, when you go home, let's say for a holiday, and there's all that sugar everywhere, you look at it and you think you want to eat it because it's tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And tradition makes us want to eat everything. It's what we've done our whole lives. Mm-hmm. But if you stop and think what you saw, you'll look at it and you can admire it and appreciate the work that people put into cooking it.
Right.
But you won't want it. You won't be able to eat it. And this has been my personal experience with it. So the work works. If you have a problem, I can solve it.